All the cars are special. They become part of the culture and the history of our family. I can sort of track our life together by the cars we've had.
I own a 1963 Chevrolet Impala. It's a Super Sport convertible. It has a 283 engine in it, the original engine, original transmission. I've been rebuilt since I've had it. The interior is rebuilt in the original style. It's not a kit, it's actually been upholstered that way. It's got a 8-inch chain steering wheel, which is a nod to the 70s, which is my favorite era of low riding. It's got a color bar in there, which I had made for the car. The wheels, 45-spoke true spokes, so we had original hubs that we rebuilt new wheels on top of, so they looked old school. It has airbags. A guy called LG pinstriped it. He's pinstriped cars for us before. The murals are done by Alberto Herrera. He did a really great job with tattooed roses all right up the middle of the car. I mean, I'm obsessed with roses. I've got a couple of dozen tattooed all over me, and I wanted to tattoo the car, and roses were the perfect feeling for me. The silver's an old 90s Mercedes silver. I think it's called Brilliant Silver. And I like it because of the shine that it has. It doesn't have a lot of reflection, which I like. Originally it was red. I promised myself I'd never buy a red car. And then I bought a red car, and...
Andrew hated the red. He suffered for the red. There were days where he didn't even want to drive it because it was red.
It's true. I mean, it's true. And the car was originally going to be gold, but I wanted to call it Stay Gold anyway, because it's a beautiful sentiment, the idea of staying true to yourself.
I drove a big old American car called Chrysler.
Chrysler Valiant. It's a Regal. It's called a Regal. Australians made versions of the American cars in Australia and called them different things.
So I was driving this car when I met Andrew, and I showed up in the car and he says to me, "Oh, can I drive?" And he's just been there ever since. He introduced me to low riding just as a sort of essential part of his life, has become a big part of our life. It's always an event whenever we go out, and particularly in a convertible. People are so appreciative that they will literally talk to us.
People have an appreciation of any old car that you've put effort into. You pull up next to a Ferrari and a Rolls Royce. No one will pay any attention to those cars when you're there. It's fantastic. They can see the love and the respect and, a lot of energy and, stuff put into that car. And those cars are off-the-shelf cars. It's custom, I guess. They respect that as well. I was born in the late 60s, so I collected all these low riding magazines as well. And that was just pictures, that's all you could dream about, because we lived in New Zealand. That's as far away as you can get. My father raced cars. He built cars and raced cars, and I was very artistically inclined. Honestly, every car that I ever owned, I hand painted. I would paint murals on them myself. And I think the building cars and the artistic part of me, that's where it came from, I think, is my dad and the magazines. I'm an architect, design new houses, alterations of houses. I've done lots of restaurants, interiors, some really great high-level kind of stuff. What people don't know is that architects do not just the outside, they do all the inside, they do the kitchens, the bathrooms, all that kind of everything. I was lucky to a point that I could actually get myself through university to do that. I worked my way through 2 university degrees and really hustled to get those jobs. Very lucky. What I started out doing was not what everyone else was doing, and try to have a different voice than other people, and that caught the eye of a lot of awards and magazines and stuff. What I love most about being an architect is the end product, obviously, when the clients start living in the space that we've collectively designed for them. And at the end of the day, you've given them, it's like a car. It's an expression of them, how they live their lives, You actually really have to understand how people live and how you can better their lives through this way. So it's really being aware of lifestyles like that and how you can make them better. We're both very busy with our professions. Nikki's one was very intense process, and the more intense Nikki's jobs got, I did less work and looked after the kids more. Until the girls got older, we got to a point where we really had to put down roots. It's been incredible. I mean, not many dads get to spend most of their time bringing up daughters.
I'm from New Zealand. My mother worked in a factory right up until the time I was born. She literally went from there to the hospital to have me, her first child. You know, I liked movies a lot, like most young people. But I guess, you know, you come from New Zealand and you don't necessarily think, oh, that's something I can or could do. As I studied at art school, and it sort of occurred to me that everything I loved came together in filmmaking. I've been fortunate enough to have made a number of films now. The big one is still Whale Rider, a movie I made in New Zealand, set in a very small community in the Māori culture. Went from there to northern Minnesota to tell the true story of female miners up there in the 80s. It's called North Country. And McFarland USA, of course, for Disney. And now I'm delighted to be able to say that I'm the director of the live action version of Mulan that we'll be shooting this year in China. I got a job with Disney to make a movie called McFarland USA, and it's a real story set in a real place. McFarland's a tiny town in the Central Valley. And when I read the script, it occurred to me that a low riding element in the story would work really well. So I recruited Andrew to come in and find all the cars and just run that part of the movie, that part of the art department. He got exactly the right car for each character, specifically a character called Harvey.
It's a 1976 Caprice Classic. That car is the most beautiful car in the world. We designed it and everything like that.
And we bought that car and it became my car after we used it in the movie. I would take it and park it up there with all the executives' cars. They'd never seen anything like it. Lowriding in the movie offers a really important perspective. In the movie, a family whose name is White, ironically, moved to McFarland, an entirely Latino community, Mexican field workers. And in the movie, on their first night, they encounter a lowriding cruise and they freak all the way out. They read lowriders as gangsters. What they learn over the course of the movie is that the town is good, the people are kind and hardworking and loving, and that lowriding is not what it seems. And this is where the movie is very authentic to the lowriding that I experience, which is very, very much about community and about family, about artistry and passion. To tell an authentic story, to have a person that is part of that culture tell it, is the most authentic way to tell it. One thing I can do with the skills I have and the apparatus that's behind me is that I can light these cultures up in the way that they should be lit up, because they are so amazing. For young people, girls in particular, and those that particularly want to pursue a life in the film industry, there's never been a better time to tell your story. There are whole worlds opening up now that we are prepared to listen to what the experiences of young women are like. And I don't mean to say it's ever easy, but it's incredibly rewarding and satisfying to work very hard and face every challenge and get better along the way, because in getting better, you get stronger and clearer, and people will listen. I'm listening.
New Zealand has a huge car culture. We're quite obsessed with American cars, so lowriding isn't a negative culture in New Zealand, and there's no gangs involved, there's no bad elements involved. It was a love of the car. It's an outward expression of yourself, these cars, and I find that really connected with me.
I love the culture part of the lowriding culture. I appreciate very much the way they look, and I love that they move very slowly and that they are beautiful pieces of art and a cultural expression often of where they have come from. In a world that is moving increasingly fast, this slowing down, I personally find it very relaxing. My name is Nikki Caro and I'm a film director.
My name is Andrew Lister, I'm an architect, and we are lowrider role models.